Hello everybody, this is Triumvir412 here to introduce you to the game of diplomacy. So let's get started. Here you see the map. It has 34 supply centers on it. That's the territories here with these little black dots in them. And the point of the game is to take 18 of those as one of the 7 nations here in the game. We have England in dark blue, France in light blue, Germany in black, Italy in green, Austria-Hungary is red, Turkey is yellow, and then Russia in white. And you'll notice that Russia has 4 units rather than 3. They just start out bigger than everybody else. There are 2 different types of units. You see the fleets here, and they are able to move into water, unlike the armies. And then the armies, which are not able to move into water, you see that. But unlike fleets, they can move around inland. You see this fleet not able to go inland. And so I'm going to pull up a map of a few games that I've been playing in to kind of walk you through the moves and how everything works. The game's broken up into turns. Every 2 turns is a year. So you see up in this corner, Spring 1901. That's the first turn of the game. The next turn will be Fall 1901. And then we'll move on to Spring 1902, Fall 1902, and so on. And the reason it's broken up that way is because you recalculate how many supply centers and how many units you have once a year, so every other turn. But we'll get to that in a little bit. First, I want to look at a couple of different orders that you have in the game. First is the hold order. You'll notice this unit here and this unit here, both holding, that is that they're not moving. And you see the little octagon around them. That's how this program symbolizes that order. And submitting a hold order and not submitting an order for a unit amount to the same thing. If it's not given another order, it will hold. And also you have the move order. You see this army moving, this fleet again moving into the water, like an army can't do. And that is how your units get around every turn. Every unit is able to receive an order. And also I should note the move and attack order are essentially the same thing. If you move into a territory held by an enemy, you're attacking him. Now you see down here the little red X through these move lines. That's because in diplomacy there is no dice rolling element, there's no random element to the strategy or combat. Rather, it's just a simple ratio. One army attacks one army, 1 to 1. No one has the advantage, so nobody wins. Nobody gets to move into that territory. It's called bouncing or standing off, either one. Go ahead and move to the fall turn, and you see a couple different types of orders. Down here you have this army and this fleet both trying to move into the same territory. However, you notice the little dotted line here, that is the symbol for the support order. So the support order adds a little extra weight, a little extra strength to this attack, and now instead of 1-on-1, it's 2-on-1. 2-on-1, Austria, who's the red player, wins and is able to move into that territory. It's pretty simple. I like it way better than rolling dice because the person with the stronger strategy is always able to win any given encounter. And also, aside from the hold, move, and support orders, we have the Convoy Order, which you see here. It allows this army to move across a sea to this territory because you see this fleet here, which is in a body of water that connects the 2 territories, gives the order to convoy. Now I should note, talking about the ratios just now over here, an army moving by convoy only counts as 1. That convoy doesn't count as a support order as well. So if another unit were trying to move into that territory, these 2 would bounce. It would need extra support to make it in. So after the fall move, you see the fall adjustment. I said every other turn you get new units, so what happens is, we'll take France as an example. They started out with 3, but they took these 2 territories here, Portugal and Spain. Since they now have 5 territories, they're allowed 5 units, so they build 2 more. You see they build an army here in Paris and a fleet down here on the coast in Marseille. You can build in any of your home centers. You can build whatever you like, army or fleet. The fleets have to be built in the coastal centers, but besides that you're pretty much free to do as you will. Then we move on to the next year, the Spring '02, and we see a couple other things. Most notably over here, take a look, we have these two French units both attacking this territory, which is called Picardy. This one is moving, this one's supporting. And then also, it's hard to see, I know, but this English army is also trying to move into Picardy. So we have two French units versus one English unit. However, you also notice the German player down here has attacked this supporting army. Anytime a supporting army is attacked, that support is cut, it's rendered null. So up here, since that support doesn't count anymore, we have Paris and Belgium both fighting over Picardy, 1-on-1, nobody gets in. But here, the German player, 2-on-1, is going to overrun Burgundy, and we'll take a look at that right now. Since they attacked 2-on-1, Germany wins, gets to move into the territory, and this French unit has to move out. It cannot move into the place it was attacked from, and it cannot move into any territory that was just fought over. So we saw France and England fighting over this territory. That means they can't retreat there. So their choice is to move here to Gascony or here to Marseille, and they chose Gascony for whatever reason. And that will happen after any turn when a retreat is necessary. We didn't see retreats in the first year because nobody was overrun. But here in the second year, the first turn, it happens. Also, a couple things to point out here. We have a double convoy, which is pretty interesting. As I mentioned before, armies can move by convoy. We saw this army here recently move down from the corner of Italy here. This is Apulia. He convoyed into Tunis. Now, since Italy has two fleets, the army is able to convoy using both to move across two bodies of water all the way over to Syria. And you can do that just by ordering the army to move and both fleets to convoy. And again, that move only has a strength of 1. Neither of those armies lend any strength to the move or to the attack. Also, you see here the dotted line that I said before symbolizes or represents support order. That is what this order here is. Rather than supporting a move, both of these units are supporting a hold. So you see this unit supporting here. That gives this territory a defensive value, you could say, of 2. So if it was attacked by this fleet with support from this army, it would be 2 versus 2, and that unit would be able to stay put. And here we have another build phase or adjustment phase. Adjustment is probably a better name for it. That's the name this program uses. Because you don't always get to build. We see here Russia builds a couple, Austria builds one, but Turkey, who has lost a couple of territories, is now down to 1 territory. They had 3 units, and so instead of building, they're actually disbanding 2 to bring them down to their allowed number. So that's a very basic overview of the general rules of the game of diplomacy. It's really easy to learn, but it is very difficult to master, mostly because it's not just your strategy you're dealing with, but the strategy and diplomacy of 6 other human players. And so it's a lot of fun. If you're interested, please keep checking in on the videos. I'll be posting commentary and other things about different games I'm playing, battles I've fought, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks a lot.